That nigga stole on you that fucking stop. In the mix. Yo, yeah, nigga hit you like the ref did you. I think I see you. Hey. That's back a headshot. Man down, man down. Back a headshot. Man down, man down. Right there.
The best. I promise you none of these niggas gonna beat me. None of them. I'm gonna make an example out of Tio. That's the only thing I love. I promise they got me up.
This is honestly the most flawless from 123 all the way down to 114. Since then, he's had his shares of victories.
Shakur Stevenson has made a noticeable physical change as he prepares for his upcoming fight against Teofimo Lopez. He has added significant weight, building his body up for a catchweight bout set at 140 pounds on January 31st. This added size reflects a serious commitment to adjusting his body for the challenge ahead.
Both legs, hit it for 3, we rested, we did 3 more. And we're trying to get that 1.0 meters per second, maximize our power. I had you at about 120, 125, but we're gonna add some reps and lighten the weight a little bit.
Inside training camp, Stevenson has shown a relentless mindset. He continues to push himself every day, testing his limits while refining his technique and adding strength. His focus is clear, using every session to sharpen his tools and prepare himself to take control in the upcoming fight.
Work hard, sacrifices, discipline, time away from my family. How you gonna beat me? Ain't no way you can beat me that way, bro. Keep saying I'm the best. Because I don't want this shit more than me. I know it. I know it. I want this so bad. So bad. Shit easy, gang.
Easy, man.
Easy.
Always easy, man.
You already know.
Always easy, man.
This supposed to be a sprint.
Let's go.
This ain't no sprint.
No, it's a job.
Terrence Crawford has been a regular presence in Stevenson's preparation, working closely with him in the gym. Crawford has taken on a mentorship role, sharing experience, techniques, and high-level insight. Their sparring sessions are intense and demanding, designed to push Stevenson physically and mentally. These tough rounds help strengthen his resilience and deliver lessons that only elite competition can provide.
I almost missed that one.
Which one?
There it go. There it go. There it go. There it go. There it go.
God
Here it go, bro. He trying to run me into the wall. Y'all didn't see that? He's trying to... Man, I performed. You know that. I told y'all what I was going to do. I was going to come out here and beat his ass every game. And look, he thinking about saying...
Shakur Stevenson has placed strong emphasis on speed and precision, working to refine his footwork, punching accuracy, and reaction time. His goal is to overwhelm opponents with fast, clean movements rather than brute force. Teofimo Lopez has acknowledged Stevenson's talent at 135 pounds, but has openly questioned how well that skill will translate at 140 pounds, stating that the fight itself will reveal whether Stevenson can adapt successfully to the higher weight.
The most flawless from 123 all the way down to 114. Since then, he's had his shares of victories. I think 135 was his top tier. 140, I think we just gotta wait and see. You know what I mean? And for him to even come up to do that, you know, I think he deserves his flowers for everyone else out there. You know, guys trying to go more down into the ranks of top 5, top 3, and eventually top 1 for pound.
But that ain't what you said, bro.
What'd I say?
I mean, I gotta remind you, you said basically I'm good at the lower weight classes. The only way that I'm going to be good is I fight at 126 pounds against guys like Inoue. But once I move up, you're going to, I can't compete at this level at that weight class.
Zab Judah views this matchup as a true meeting of elite skill rather than a fight driven by hype. He sees two fighters equally committed to proving themselves, neither willing to give ground mentally or physically. From Judah's perspective, this is not a contest where size or raw power alone decides the outcome. Instead, it will come down to who can impose their skill set under pressure. With both men known for confidence and discipline, Judah expects a tense battle filled with adjustments and intensity. He believes their refusal to back down elevates this fight into a genuine test of ability rather than the simple showcase.
It's two dog fighters. You got two dog fighters that's coming in there to solidify themselves as the game changer. Teo's not gonna lay down. Shakur is not gonna lay down. It's gonna be skill versus skill. Teo's a very talented, skillful fighter. Shakur is a very extremely talented, skillful fighter. And yes, we're gonna see a hell of a great chess match that night.
Yeah, I believe so. Now, I think in your earlier predictions, you felt like Shakur will be stopping Teo? Am I right?
Annihilation, decapitation. Is that what you're talking about? You going back to my comments? Yeah. I feel like Teo's a very dominant force, but I just think that the skills of Shakur Stevenson is gonna overwhelm Teo. It's gonna overwhelm. Yeah. He's never seen this type of action before yet.
Now,
no disrespect. Okay. It's my little man, you know what I'm saying? Just saying, yo, it is what it is.
Looking at, the stats, the resumes, we see that, Teo has been at this high level for a long time. When it comes to Shakur Stevenson, his amateur record speaks for itself, but at the same time, not necessarily getting the notable names that people know in America. People are also saying that they're kind of discrediting Shakur's resume, saying he hasn't really fought anybody. Teofimo Lopez would be that first person. Do you feel like that could be something that, I don't know, it could be a lot closer than what people think?
I mean, listen, the fight's going to be a lot closer than people think. We just blabbing our mouth and running off what we think our professional opinion is. These are two talented, great young fighters in here. You know what I'm saying? Teo's not going to back down. Shakur's not going to back down. We're going to get an exciting 12-round fights or however long it should last. We're going to have an exciting fight. And I'm expecting both guys to come in there and leave everything they can.
Antonio Tarver approaches this matchup with the perspective of someone who understands boxing beyond statistics and recent performances. He believes Teofimo Lopez should not be judged solely on his most recent outings. Tarver points out that Lopez still possesses rare natural abilities that cannot be taught. His speed, strength, and explosive power remain intact, making him a real threat to anyone. Tarver warns that danger does not disappear just because confidence fluctuates. A fighter with Lopez's athletic gifts only needs one opening to change everything. Against a technician like Shakur Stevenson, even a brief lapse in judgment or timing could prove costly.
Yeah, I mean, smart money would be on the boxer, Shakur Stevenson, winning the decision. But, if Lopez can make this fight, a lot tougher than expected, and he's going to have to exchange with Shakur. He's a fast fighter. We don't know who's the quickest or fastest here. You have to give the speed edge to Shakur. But if Lopez can punch with this fast guy, make him a little bit cautious and a little bit leery of what's coming back, that serves him well. But Teofimo is one of the best conditioned fighters out there. If this fight goes late, you can expect him to be pushing forward round 9, 10, and 11 if it goes late.
Yeah, a big question is always like what Teo is going to show up. And like when everyone's counted out Teo, it's actually been the times where he's like upset people, like against Lomachenko or against Josh Taylor, fights to the level of his competition. And I've been thinking like, hey, if we get the best version of Teo, like the Teo that showed up for those fights, does that Teo beat the best Shakur?
It would have to, I think that's the only chance he got, is to really be his ultra self, doing all the things that makes him Teofimo Lopez. The footwork could be a major advantage for him. Being able to get inside. A lot of times he fights free. He don't really have a style. He does what it takes. And he's a gutsy fighter. Real gutsy. He's not going to be leery to take chances. He's a gambler in there. You know what I'm saying? So he's a live underdog, I would say. A live underdog, but if he's to win this fight, I think he has to.
Shakur Stevenson presents a challenge that very few fighters have been able to solve. Instead of overwhelming opponents with non-stop aggression, he controls fights in a quieter, more calculated way. Stevenson limits opportunities rather than forcing exchanges, slowly removing options and dictating the pace on his own terms. His defensive awareness, positioning, and timing make clean openings hard to find. Opponents often have to work much harder just to land effectively, which can lead to frustration as rounds progress.
Teo was only unfocused with one fight his whole life, and that was George Kambosos, and that's the only fight I'll give y'all. No matter who Shakur fought, he's looked great against everybody. No matter it's the bums that y'all say he fights or the number one guys in the division, Shakur Stevenson has dominated everybody. It's gonna be a sight to see. Shakur Stevenson on fight night is going to make fireworks happen, and I can't wait to see it. I've already gave my stance on this, but Shakur Stevenson it's just his time, and Teo's.
This style makes Stevenson both frustrating and unpredictable inside the ring. He rarely falls into obvious patterns, and when an opponent begins to adjust, he adapts quickly. Against a fighter like Lopez, who feeds off rhythm, confidence, and momentum, this approach is especially dangerous. Stevenson's ability to disrupt flow before it develops can neutralize Lopez's natural strengths. What further separates Stevenson is his composure. He stays calm under pressure and rarely panics when situations change. That steadiness allows him to read opponents in real time and make small but decisive adjustments. Facing Stevenson requires patience, discipline, and emotional control, qualities that challenge even elite fighters. For Lopez, this matchup is as much a mental test as it is a physical one.
It's a really Mike 12 vote Teofimo Lopez. People love talking about this resume that Teofimo Lopez has. Granted, it's a really good resume. He has guys like Lomachenko under his belt, Josh Taylor. But if I'm being honest, Josh Taylor played into what Teofimo Lopez wanted him to do so perfectly. Lomachenko, he lost that fight more than Teofimo won that fight, if I'm being honest. And against lower level competition, like a Steve Claggett, like a Jermaine Ortiz, like a Kambosos.
Teofimo Lopez's career shifted noticeably after his loss to George Kambosos, a defeat that interrupted the momentum he once carried with confidence. Prior to that fight, his performances showed sharp focus and consistent execution. Since then, his outings have appeared uneven, featuring moments of brilliance mixed with lapses in discipline. Still, inconsistency should not be confused with a lack of danger. Lopez remains especially threatening in the early rounds, when his energy is high and belief fuels his offense.
De La Santos. You're going to see De La Santos part 2, and he's just going to get on his bicycle, which we don't want to see, or he's going to have to fight. And and I think Teofimo is a guy that can make Shakur fight, because he can cut off the ring well enough. You know what I'm saying? I think he can stay with him well enough where he could turn this into a fight, and it'll be exciting for him if he does. I think Shakur, like a lot of fights, he needs this name in order to silence a lot of the naysayers. Because people talk a lot of shit about Shakur, especially after the De La Santos fight. I don't think, the Zabata fight took it off of him, even though they tried to make it seem like, yeah.
One of Lopez's greatest strengths continues to be his ability to generate sudden power. Even when he seems slightly off rhythm or off balance, a single explosive movement can shift the direction of a fight instantly. This unpredictability forces opponents to remain alert at all times. Analysts often note that while his dominance has fluctuated, his physical tools have not faded. His speed, strength, and athleticism are still present. That mix creates a volatile profile where flashes of brilliance exist alongside costly mistakes. Against a calm and composed fighter like Stevenson, that volatility becomes even more important. It could result in a fight-changing moment if timed perfectly, or it could lead to mounting frustration if patience is lost. If Stevenson controls distance and maintains his preferred pace, Lopez may find himself reaching, missing, and growing increasingly frustrated.
Teofimo hurt Shakur with one shot. Can you hurt him clean? He hasn't been a killer, as much of a killer at 140. And after Kambosos, he hasn't been the same, in my opinion. But he's still explosive and still dangerous in the first 7 rounds. You know what I'm saying? First 8 rounds. So I think it's a good fight. I like the fight, actually, because of that. Teofimo got the explosive punching power on his side and good athleticism. And Shakur has, superior boxing IQ, good range, good distance. So it's great. It's good boxer versus good athlete at this point. So I like the fight. I don't say it's 50-50. I say it's 60-40 Shakur. But I like Teofimo's chances in this fight. You know what I'm saying? If Teofimo makes this a fight and comes out early and attacks and gets right.
Tim Bradley views this fight as a clear contrast between two opposing styles, where raw explosiveness meets calculated control. From his perspective, Teofimo Lopez relies on sudden bursts of speed and power to create offense without warning. His athleticism allows him to overwhelm opponents before they can establish rhythm. Lopez looks to introduce chaos early, forcing reactions and capitalizing on hesitation with powerful shots that can immediately change the fight.
It's the feet is what gets you in position to be able to land those shots. Footwork is extremely important. When I look at both these guys and I look at Shakur's footwork, I look at Teo's footwork. And what I noticed about Teo's footwork in particular is that in order to be able to throw with the amount of power that he has, I've noticed with Teo, there's always a subtle pause before he actually explodes. And Teo's a guy that likes to explode into contact, like to explode into his opponents, man, to land his offense. Fast, twitchy type muscles, fibers, he's extremely fast. Some may say that, his twitchiness kind of reminds him of like Roy Jones' type of, movements, how quick he's able to close that distance on his opposition. However, he's in there with a guy that is a master at controlling distance. That's he's a master at literally, getting in his position, right? In the position where he wants to be and taking away your positioning. And with doing so, he takes away your feet, and that's why I think feet are going to be extremely important in this. If you can keep your opponent off balance, for instance, let me just give you an example. It's like Teo explodes. There's a subtlety before he explodes with his offense. And as soon as Shakur sees that, he's anticipating something to come. He knows he's going to explode in. So what does Shakur do? Teo takes a big step in.
According to Bradley, the outcome will not be decided by who throws more punches or shows greater aggression. Instead, victory will belong to the fighter who controls where and how the fight unfolds, setting the rhythm and forcing the opponent to adjust.
But it's the feet is what gets you in position to be able to land those shots. Footwork is extremely important. When I look at both these guys and I look at Shakur's footwork, I look at Teo's footwork. And what I noticed about Teo's footwork in particular is that in order to be able to throw with the amount of power that he has, I've noticed with Teo, there's always a subtle pause before he actually explodes. And Teo's a guy that likes to explode into contact, like to explode into his opponents, man, to land his offense. Fast, twitchy type muscles, fibers, he's extremely fast. Some may say that, his twitchiness kind of reminds him of like Roy Jones' type of, movements, how quick he's able to close that distance on his opposition.
When discussing the upcoming matchup, Shakur Stevenson carries himself with calm confidence. He does not shy away from criticism, nor does he appear shaken by doubt. He views this fight as another step forward in his development. His confidence is rooted in preparation rather than talk. Stevenson speaks like someone comfortable under scrutiny, trusting that his skill will speak for itself. This mental stability could play a key role against a fighter as emotionally driven as Lopez. Stevenson's ability to remain composed under pressure suggests he is ready for both the physical and psychological demands of this contest.
It's cool. I mean, that's their opinion. Like, you know, they could say that. But I know he never fought nobody on my level. Like, I'm 1,000,000% sure that Teo has never seen nobody as good as me in his life.
He's talking about, like, once he gets through you, then he wants Crawford, names like that. How do you think he would do against someone like Terrence at this point?
I think he gets knocked out.
Can't even hang with him.
Yeah, he's too little. Bud is too big for him.
Right. As far as skills, though, do you think he's on par with the likes of Terrence?
I'm not going to say he's on the Terrence Crawford level of skills, but he's very skillful. He got a lot of things with him that puts him at a high level.
One thing that was interesting to me was it seemed like you were going to move on from Matchroom, but now Eddie Hearn is involved in this, and this is a Matchroom event, it seems like. I know it's a ring card too, but he's promoting it here in the United States. So what is the state of your relationship with Eddie and Matchroom at this point?
Eddie's my guy. I'm actually not signed to Matchroom, but he's my guy. I'm a big fan of Eddie Hearn, and nothing but respect to him, but I'm glad he's the promoter that's on this card. I'm glad to share the spotlight with his promotional company.
So if he's your guy, how come you're not signed to Matchroom?
I mean, it's just business. If it makes sense, then I will. You know, if it come down to it and that's what makes sense, then we'll do it. But right now, I don't think it makes sense.
Okay, so are you just more of like your own man at this point? Your own entity?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Do you negotiate with the ring people, with Turkey? You just do that yourself?
No, me and my manager.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned, and until next time.